Dear listeners of the Female Guides Requested podcast, happy Wednesday. This is your host Ting Ting from Las Vegas, and today's guest is Elise Clausen, another Vegas local. I met Elise in 2019 when we both worked at Origin Climbing Gym in Henderson. I learned that she also guided in Red Rock for mountain skills. In 2020, the gym changed ownership and the pandemic hit. Elise lost her job and had a lot of free time on her hands. A crafter at heart, she started making jewelry and handbags, selling them online. Her business, Desert Accents, took off quickly, and within months, it replaced her full-time income. I admire Elise's artwork and was curious about her career change, so I invited her on the show to learn more. We talk about how she started her path in outdoor education and guiding, found her specialty in programming and coordinating large groups, and how she transitioned to entrepreneurship and craftmanship. These days, she still does some guiding and is continuing working to improve both her craft and her business. Now, please enjoy this interview. Hi, Elise.
Hi, Ting Ting.
Thank you so much for coming to my place and have this conversation with me.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
And I always want to interview you because I admire your work, the artwork. We'll talk about that for sure. And then, obviously, just that alone, I can invite you on my show because it's female guys.
Right.
So, obviously, you're also a female guy and take people out for outdoor trips. Now you do a lot of artwork, so do you still taking people out rock climbing, that type of thing?
Yeah, so I my certification is actually lapsed. I'm not as crazy good as some of the other women that you've been interviewing. I just have had my SPI certification, so just doing single pitch terrain. And it has actually recently lapsed, so I need to re-up it.
You can take mine.
Yeah, I think I might do that. I might take you up on that. But
awesome.
Currently I just organize and run kind of some of our large group programming here in Red Rock.
Yeah, you just mentioned we were just doing a little pre-conversation. You just ran this 100?
Yeah, I exaggerated. It was actually about 90, but they scheduled for 100. Yeah.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we I work with I have some close ties still due to some of my other work with the city of Las Vegas recreation department, and so we get summer camp. We do lots of summer camp and winter camp groups out in Red Rock, and so I get to organize those and hire the guides for them, map out the terrain that we're going to use, plan the day, coordinate with the folks and make it all happen.
All right. So what was your entry point into this guiding community?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess I started working at the University of Idaho a number of years ago, probably in, in 2013, probably I started managing their climbing gym.
Because you went to school there, or you?
I did, yeah. Yeah, I did both my bachelor and master's degrees there.
In Idaho.
In Idaho, yeah.
I see.
Yeah, and so I worked at the university there, managed the climbing gym, assistant managed their outdoor recreation program and department. And climbing was obviously a really big part of that. And so, I was guiding for the university for a number of years, and then, came to Las Vegas and wanted to keep doing that. And so I got AMGA certified and then started working in single pitch terrain here.
I see.
Yeah.
So you the reason you came to Vegas is to keep doing this?
Yeah. So actually, I came to Vegas because it's kind of a funny story. I came with a boyfriend at the time, and we came to meet a couple of his friends and go climbing, because it's not abnormal for us who live in North Idaho to travel to Red Rock, to Moab, to Joshua Tree, wherever to go climbing, because we don't have anything that cool in North Idaho. So we came here to go climbing, and I liked his friend better. So I moved here, dumped him. No, just kidding. We split up. It was amicable. But yeah, so I moved here to be with my now partner.
I see.
Yeah.
Right. I think it all worked out.
What's that?
I guess it all worked out.
Oh, yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
And then since that you decide to reside here, then that's when you start to look for jobs here.
Yeah, I did find a job before I moved here. I planned it a little bit.
Nice.
It was pretty quick, but I did a little planning. So I did find a job, and I started working for the city of Las Vegas and their adaptive unit. So I ran adaptive recreation programs for kids.
Oh, so for kids and adaptive.
Yes.
Oh.
Yep.
Originally, I knew that you did that line of work. Originally, I was imagining adults.
Yeah. So kids. I primarily worked with kids aged 12 to 13 to 17. Sometimes a little bit older.
So it's like middle school and high school age. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And mostly folks with cognitive impairments.
Okay.
Yeah, or developmental disabilities.
Yeah. So I just recently learned this, some jargons from adaptive community. They were saying some not visual disability and
visually impaired.
Yeah. So something that you can see and something you can't.
Oh yeah.
See.
I see. I see what you're saying. Oh yeah. Yeah. So not the type of disability that you see, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So cognitive. What's the term? Cognitive impair? Or,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that. I understand. I think that jargon is always hard. It's hard to be to keep up with all of the. I don't know. It's difficult.
I'm just trying to learn the term that's the best way to describe.
I think probably cognitively impaired.
Okay. Yeah. Wow, that's really cool. Because my sister-in-law, who specializes in working with kids with autism, and this autism can be...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. That's part. I think that falls under that umbrella.
Cool. Maybe, who knows? Maybe my sister-in-law, that in the future that we, can have a collaboration.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, I really enjoy it. I originally started, when I left college after having finished my bachelor degree, I worked for a wilderness therapy company.
Oh, okay.
And so we took kids who had... primarily it was addiction issues. We would take them into the backcountry, and they would be there anywhere from 4 to 14 weeks or more. And, there's a lot of different thoughts about wilderness therapy, but we don't need to talk about that. But what I liked about that experience was that I already knew that recreation was therapeutic for myself. But that it could really be used as a tool as a therapy tool.
Definitely.
And so I never really went down that road super far. I just wanted to be involved with helping to provide recreational experiences for other people.
So you find something very fulfilling in that line of work, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So because I work when I just started instructing, I worked very short time in the wilderness therapy.
Okay.
Wow. And obviously I didn't have any psychology training and all that. Just taking people out and make sure they're safe. Mm-hmm. But it's a very profound change that I've witnessed over the program. And, but I just addicted to climbing, so I didn't stay in that job for long.
Yeah.
But I can imagine it's like pretty fulfilling. So what did you see in that line of community? Yeah.
I guess, so wilderness therapy itself it's so physically and time demanding. It just doesn't, to work in the field like that, it just doesn't make sense long term.
Okay.
Because you're out in the backcountry for 8 to 16, 15 days at a time, something like that, depending on the season and the program. And so, so I wasn't too interested in wilderness therapy per se. But when I went back to the university to work on my master's degree and started running their climbing gym and teaching climbing courses, I found sort of the same fulfillment when students would, at the start of the semester, they would know that by the end of the quarter, they would be rappelling from the top of our tower, which at the time was the largest in any college or university on this side of the Mississippi. And so I don't know if that's true or not anymore, but it's 55 feet tall, so it's big. It's quite tall. Yeah. Yes. And so rappelling off of the top of that was the thought of it was such a visceral experience, thought for them, that they were like, oh my gosh, no, I'm never gonna do that.
So you mean that at the very beginning they knew that?
Yep. Okay. They were like, I will not do that. And then being able to, bring in, for example, one time I had a student that had that mentality, and by the end of the quarter, she was really interested in trying, but she was concerned about people there and, being judged or something like that. And so I organized a time with her outside of class and had another student staff to come in and help us, where it was just the 3 of us in the gym, and she could rappel off of the tower. And
okay.
Yeah.
So you gave her the space to be...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, to be able to have that experience too. And those are the type of things, that's the reason why I enjoy outdoor recreation and why I enjoy sharing it with other people and why I, guide.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to say, I had to admit when I just started climbing, and I also started with outdoor education.
Cool.
And then I actually didn't I just like, why can't we just go climb for the sake of climbing? And why do we have to frame all these things, and just so they can have, say, success, or they can learn trust, or they do that. So, but then gradually I found that it's actually, for me, I learned so much about making my life choice through my climbing experience.
Cool. Yeah.
I was like, I guess it's the same concept.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. And I don't know if I ever verbalized those types of things that way, but those were definitely the result of those experiences for those people, finding trust and finding success in the things that they were doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So right now I have very different, a better view on people doing those things. So I have a lot of admiration for people who still keep doing it and trust the process.
Same. Yeah.
Yes. So when you did the adaptive climbing program, was it mostly in the gym or outside?
Mostly in the gym. I ran a few adaptive programs at the University of Idaho. We had a couple of folks in our small community there who needed extra assistance of some type. So I started doing small sort of events for them where we would have extra staff in the facility that could help, and in a quieter gym, make sure the gym was quieter and less crowded and things like that. So we could set up the things that we needed. And so mostly gym. And then when I came here, I ran, we would take kids climbing at the gym during the school year. We went maybe once a month or twice a month for a year and a half or something.
I see.
And
so,
then we did go outside a couple of times too.
So the programming is more have built in this long-term mindset, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So typically, so you will have these same group of kids for how long?
The school year generally.
Okay.
Yeah. So August through May, I guess.
Right. And then you would program the way they have like some sort of progression.
You know, some of them, yes. Some of them, it was just enough for them to make it a foot off the ground.
I see.
To have, you know, and feel success.
Right.
And so, some of them we could, you know, have a progression, and some it was a little bit more minute, you know.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like it because when I work in the wilderness therapy, so it was like 21 program outside, and I sort of saw a lot of change in them, but I was worried that when they went back home, what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then it's also pretty exhausting for me. Not physically, it's like mentally.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I kind of like that this approach is like, okay, you know, we have these kids, but you don't work day and night.
Yeah.
Intensely.
Yeah. Right.
But then you still have a long-term plan.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it was really great. I actually really enjoyed that job. There were parts of it, like any other job, that I didn't like. But ultimately I did choose to leave. But yeah, it wasn't because of any of those things.
Okay. So and then I think that's when we met in person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you had that transition.
Yeah. I think we met when I was managing the gym in town here.
Yeah, at that time I had my very short life of the route setting.
I thought you were such a badass. I was like, I don't even know her, but she is such a badass.
I mean, maybe, but I was really bad at route setting.
Oh, I just realized, hopefully that's okay to say on here. Sorry if I offended anyone.
No, I mean, you didn't offend anybody else.
Okay.
It's like, I mean, it's fine, you know, but sometimes when people say, oh, you look such a badass, I say, I don't know whether I can live up to that.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know. It's a lot to admire.
So then, how did you, I guess you had gym management experience before. Was that the reason that you did that?
Yeah, I really loved when I was in Idaho. I think I moved for my partner. And I was also just jonesing for a change of scenery. I had lived there for a while, but I'm the kind of person who likes to change things up, you know, every now and again. And so I had been there probably 10 years or so.
So where were you born?
I was born in Southeast Idaho.
Oh, so still in Idaho.
Still in Idaho. Quite a long ways away from the University of Idaho in North Idaho near Coeur d'Alene. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put this map in my head. But
yeah, right. It's really hard to do. But yeah, so and I really enjoyed working at the gym. I enjoy working with people. I like education. I really like teaching people about climbing. I was the guide that took all of the beginners out because that's where I do best and that's what I enjoy the most. I want to be with the never evers. And so those were the folks that I got mostly. But anyway, so that's what I liked about the gym too, was getting to work with the staff and helping them give folks those experiences.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that have a site for beginners. It's very important. Yeah, I guess, I teach SPI and then I told them your job are very important because you take a lot of first timer out.
Yeah.
And that's probably, the first impression is always very
that's
important.
True. I never thought about it like
It is
that.
very important. Yeah, right. So that's their first door.
Right.
To the climbing potentially.
Right.
So
that's that first experience.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it, it's profound.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of SPY, they are really new. They're just like, I don't know, but I just like, look, your job is important.
That's true. Maybe we should like do it the other way around, where the inexperienced guides do all the hard stuff. And no, I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing. Yeah. But yeah, there's some, I see that. Yeah, there might be some value in having more experienced folks and, taking the new folks out.
I certainly believe. I mean, the thing is the same thing as education, right? But the early childhood education, we did need very solid people in early childhood education.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I never thought about it.
Right. Like me, I just say, I try, but sometimes I feel that I don't know whether I'm the best person to teach beginners.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a lot of respect for people who really love teaching beginners.
Well,
and
thank you.
Yeah,
same to you.
You mentioned that you really like the organization job because that's what you study, you say? Yeah.
Are you referring to organizing the groups?
Organizing group or plan out the event or programming.
Yeah. So my background, working with the university was kind of in coordination. So I did coordinate lots of events and programs and all that stuff. And that's something that for whatever reason I like it. Sometimes just as much as actually, being boots on the ground and running the program or instruction. But I do like coordinating. Yeah. And so that's, now that my certification is lapsed in particular, that's all I do with the company that I work for. So I have a couple of, right now it's just a few annual groups that come in and work with me. And I get to make that happen.
I mean, that's like strong skill. I mean, I just imagine 90 kids, and then I started to count the ratio, how many guys you have to hire,
and you have to abide by permitting too, which doesn't allow more than 12 people at a crag at a time.
I think you might do a better job teaching those programming and then the permitting things, the SPI program requires. I don't really know as much as a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, wow, cool. And tell me a little bit more about, your only business. Originally, I want to say your side hustle, but I don't think it's quite a side hustle. I think you kind of put equal emphasis on both this guiding and then your artwork. Does that sound right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not anymore. Originally, I thought so. So I didn't have a job for a while. Another transition after working at the gym. And so I was actively looking for another job. This was right before the pandemic.
Right, I remember that time frame.
I got a really cool job for a really cool nonprofit in town.
Oh, okay.
Doing something a little bit different, but still in the same vein. Anyway, then the pandemic happened a week after I got my new job, and they made this brand new position. So they were like, you know what? We're cutting you. So I lost my job, my new job. And I don't know. I've always liked making things. I like jewelry. I don't wear a lot of it, but I do like it. And anyway, I just told my mom one day that I wanted to learn how to make a few things because I was like, I don't know what else to do because we all had all this time.
Yeah.
And wow, the world changed really quickly. And so I started making jewelry, and
so maybe before we jump into your business, just quickly describe what your business is.
So I make jewelry and hair accessories. They're all made from, I'm starting to work in sterling silver and doing some, working with stones too, which is really fun, with some silversmithing. But primarily I do lots of hair clips and wood things, wood earrings and wood necklaces and things like that.
And you also have I saw handbags or...
I do too many things, I think. I make, I totally forgot about the leather goods.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I also make bags, some like crossbody style bags. I have some totes that I do as well out of leather. I have a really cool laser engraver that I use on leather to kind of burn in intricate designs into leather that I can then sew into bags. And the name it's pretty cool.
Let's don't forget about the name of your business.
Desert Accents.
Yeah, Desert Accents. I love it because you still can't keep the root, and then we are obviously in the desert.
Yeah. And I try to do, kind of nature inspired designs. I just did a really large order for a store in Jackson Hole, which I'm really excited about. Hopefully they hear this. Anyway, but not all of them, a good chunk of the ring bands that I have like mountain and desert landscapes around them, and they're really cool. And I'm excited about it.
So you started business just right at pandemic?
I did, yeah. Okay. So I started making those earrings that I told my mom I wanted to learn how to make, and my mom was like, why don't you sell those on Etsy? And I was like, I can't do that. These aren't very good.
Oh my god.
And then
hold on one second. So you just learned how to make it also when you start your business?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I never did any of this before.
And you're like really good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
That
really means a lot.
Looking at all the photos, I want to buy them, but I don't wear any jewelry.
I understand that.
So then I was like, I wish I can really support you in like a real way. But then I'm like, have to make sure it's like, I need to no more impulse buy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's okay.
Okay.
Liking things is support, and I'm happy for that. So thank you.
Okay. So sorry I interrupt your story.
No, it's good.
So you were telling your mom.
Yeah, and she's like, you should start selling them on Etsy. And anyway, I ended up trying to do that, and within a month, it had fully replaced my full-time income.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So it's like huge success.
It was instant, and I honestly think that, maybe there's some good in there, but I think I was just really lucky. I see other artists who are incredibly good at their craft who aren't able to make it full time, and something happened, and I just got lucky.
Well,
I'm grateful for it.
I mean, I would agree that certainly, we all need some luck. But when the luck comes, you also need to be good.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So you are good. And
well, thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But so it's evolved. In the beginning, I was just making hair accessories. I work with a lot of copper and oxidize that because it turns some different and beautiful colors, greens and blues and browns. You can get red and orange too. It's pretty wild.
And how did you learn all the thing if you just like haven't had this experience before? I'm curious.
I don't know, just trying it. I've always been, my dad was a blacksmith.
Okay.
And so, we grew up around him and my mom, who's just an incredibly hardworking human, who are just determined to figure things out and make them work. And so, being with my dad, who's just a very crafty person, he could work on the house or work on the car, or he could, do really intricate and beautiful metalwork. I just grew up, with an artist who worked with their hands, and so I like working with my hands. So I like just making things happen. So you think I just figured it out.
So you did a little bit of those handmade crafts when you were...
Yeah, so I don't know if it started when I was younger, but I did work with my dad as a blacksmith apprentice for a number of years before I went to college. After high school, didn't want to go straight to school, but yeah, so I got some experience there working with steel, and I guess, running a business as well. And yeah, I just have always liked making crap,
those are beautiful stories. But definitely, you have to make crap before you can really make things that you can sell. Yeah. And how about the business side? Maybe it's not that challenging for you since you're so good at organized stuff.
Oh, there's I have two different parts of me. I have the part that really loves organizing things, and then I have the part of me who really is not an organized person at all.
Okay, yeah.
And so they meet somewhere in the middle. So I kind of live in this disorganized organization where, my partner comes into my room needing a tool, my studio, and he's like, where the heck is this thing? And I'm like, oh, it's over here, like in this drawer sitting on this thing that I was working on, I just know where it all is, but it makes no sense,
right?
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so the rest of it, I just knew right away that if I was going to make money from it, that I had to do all of the proper business things. So,
So what's the proper business?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah.
Registering with the state as a business, declaring you're doing business name as name,
right,
if you're going to have one. Which mine is Desert Accents. Don't forget it. No, I'm just kidding. Filing, figuring out how to file taxes online, and then to the state, and collecting and remitting sales tax and what that is like. So you have to file that separate. It's kind of confusing.
Then I'm kind of curious because you sell things on Etsy.
I sell mostly on Etsy. Yeah.
Oh, but then you still have other things just directly from your website, maybe?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I think Etsy also
Etsy
deal
does
with the
Etsy does the taxes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. I still declare them though through the state of Nevada, and just let them know that Etsy has already paid them, if that makes sense. So I still have to file even if it's
right.
If I'm paying $0.
I see.
Yeah.
Basically, if people buy directly from your website, do you get more margin?
So I actually really only sell on Etsy.
Oh, okay.
I use Etsy in a wholesale website, and then when I'm doing markets and things like that, I do get a bigger margin. However, I'm spending my time to be there, and it's a whole day of work that I'm not able to create more items to sell. Right. If that makes sense.
That definitely makes sense. That's kind of like what they call some sort of cost, just opportunity cost. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. If you decide to do this, then your time is occupied.
Right. Yeah,
yes.
And so that's tricky. So I do some sales that way, and then I do have some folks that I've who have bought from me time and time again, who know to just reach out to me, and I'll do it a little more under the table that way. But
I see. Yeah.
Most of it's very above board.
It's okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so I do get a bigger margin if folks reach out directly to me. But yeah, mostly I just sell through those because I'm not a person who breaks rules either. I'm scared.
I'm also scared. So, yeah. Because people say, oh, Ting Ting, can you guide me on this? I was like, yeah, I can. Yeah, because it's outside of the places I can operate.
Right. Yeah, no, because if they get injured,
right.
They may or may not blame you, but if they do,
that's
a big problem.
It is.
That's a really big problem.
So I follow the rules.
Yeah.
So right now it's like your major income only. Not it's not the only, but it's like you're
mostly
doing well.
Only. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I only run at this point, especially since my SPI cert has lapsed. I only organize those groups, so that's all I've done this year.
Interesting. Yeah.
And so, I do really well with those because I get, not only do I get paid for my time there, I get paid, a leading role, which is a good chunk, and then I also get a commission from the group. So,
okay.
Yeah, which is quite nice for it.
Do that you also were you the one doing budgeting too, so you can okay, this is what I'm gonna get paid, or?
Yeah, so I don't, no, not really. I do work with the owners to kind of suss some of those things out, but ultimately they're the ones that are in control. And then the city, for those large groups, the city of Las Vegas is responsible for transportation costs and, to manage all of those things. I just help, figure out kind of the logistics of what the day is going to look like with them.
I see. So the reason big kick group is still from the connection with the city of Las Vegas.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So yeah, I do groups with them, and then I also got we also do groups with the Boy Scouts.
Okay.
And so I get to give climbing merit badges because I'm a merit badge counselor now.
Yeah.
Which is really fun. So each year we get to have scouts come out with us, and they have holy crap, do they have a long list of things that they need to learn.
Wow, okay.
And as I said, I'm a rule follower, so I don't like to fudge on them, I'm like, no, we have to get your 3 rappels today. This has to happen.
So they need like 3 rappel. You can't just do 1 rappel.
3. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, so it's, so I get to do those too. But yeah, I think right now it's just those 2 big groups.
Very interesting. So then what do you think? I mean, I know, that kind of like a little bit guiding, but are you thinking that you could potentially come back to guiding, or you are pretty satisfied? What?
I would like to, because I think, like any tool or skill, it's something that needs to stay sharp and practiced. And so, yeah, I'm going to come and, I'll talk to you about taking another exam here, because I need to do that. But yeah, and I would like to, just continue probably doing it part-time as I have been. It's a nice little bump, in times when you get days. But I never really did a ton anyway. I maybe had 30 days out or something at the, something like that. Maybe a little bit more, because we're here all summer, and surprisingly, people come climbing in the summer. Isn't that wild? We meet them at 5 or 6 in the morning. It's awful.
I know. I guided a few times in the summer because I was here. Mm-hmm. It was not, I won't say the best.
Yeah, it's not doable. It's just challenging in another way.
It is certainly, managing the heat and the sun in the desert.
Yeah.
And then you just never really in the summer, never cool down.
Yeah, and making sure the people are okay. Because you're okay, but if they're coming from somewhere else, that's tricky. Yeah, you have to be really careful.
Right. I mean, I always say that people with no experience with the desert certainly underestimate the risk the desert can bring.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep, totally.
Whew.
Wow. But yeah, so I would like to do more guiding. I don't see myself ever progressing beyond the SPI.
I see.
Something I would love to do is to teach SPI, but I know I can't. So because you gotta get your rock guide. I think, is that right? I don't know.
I think you need to be either a multi-pitch instructor,
okay,
or at least assist rock guy.
Okay. Well,
in
maybe
order
then.
to because I know that some people talk to me and then they just say, I never really want to guide full time. So, and the terrain they operate in is not really a full rock guide terrain. Yeah. So then they went on but they really like to teach SPI. So they went on the multi-pitch instructor route. Okay. Which is slightly shorter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did take the multi-pitch instructor class, or a version of it, such a long time ago. Mm-hmm. It was many, many moons ago.
Right. So at least that's I think my understanding for
of that.
The prerequisite to become an SPI provider.
I'll look all that up later.
I think all the information is online.
Probably.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's cool. So this is kind of interesting because you seem like pretty happy. Is that more I mean, it doesn't seem like you planned it out, right?
My career trip?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I did not plan it out this way.
So what do you think that, well, certainly you mentioned you got lucky, right? But there's definitely things in addition to luck. And then what do you think that contribute the best in your, like, okay, within months or short time that you think that you can support yourself?
Yeah. I think just willing myself to be brave enough to try is probably the biggest thing that, besides luck, that I could contribute my success to. Although I do think luck was just a huge part of it. Just with the timing, with COVID, could I have done it another time? I really don't think so. And would I have done it another time? Probably, absolutely not.
So you mean that, say if you got a job, say that nonprofit, so maybe we won't see that there's an accent, or maybe not until maybe a few years later.
Yeah. I guess so. I just. So I guess, again, I think the only other thing that was contributing was just not being too afraid to not try. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I just started posting on Facebook and in groups and things like that. And so folks just got to know me. And I started doing something that was different. And I do some things that are different than other people.
What do you mean?
You can't find, as like, a lot of people don't work with patinaed copper, for example, which is the process of oxidizing it that I talked about earlier with that turns out those really lovely colors. Not a lot of people use it, at least in the way that I do it. And so
so you're saying that you were developing some sort of niche?
Yeah, I think so. And I make this mountain hair clip that I've never seen anything like that before. It's like just your regular barrette with a mountainscape on the back side with patinaed copper, and so some different blues are in it and browns and gold colors. It's really cool.
Yeah, I like it. So that this is what I take away. Just like, okay, yeah, I'm in this position that I gotta do something.
Yeah. Yep.
And then so you tried, but then you also have to differentiate yourself. So you try some bold design that which you haven't seen before.
Yeah, I think so.
Right. So it might work, but it's much better than you just be like, oh, we just do the same thing that everybody does. Then how are you going to stand out?
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. You're helping me frame some of these things.
It's
good. It's good. Because it is hard for me to... I still have a hard time kind of, I guess, coming to terms with the fact that I make jewelry for a living now.
Why?
Not that it's a bad thing at all.
Yeah.
But it's just not anything that I ever thought I would do, or I never thought about doing it ever.
Right.
And
so we should thank your mom.
Yeah, we should thank you, Mom, if you're listening. No. And I just thought that my road was, kind of down the outdoor education route in some form or another.
Great.
Yeah.
Wow, that's, obviously, if it's new thing, like new business or new, it's like investment. It potentially won't work out.
Yeah.
Potentially. Right.
Mm-hmm. Which is scary.
Yeah. But I'm glad it worked out for you. And, because I always have a lot of new ideas in my mind. I want to do like different type of classes. I want to have like my own program that follow like long-term clients growth. Yeah, because I really enjoyed that. But I'm like scared too.
Yeah.
And I just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think, we just have to, at some point, if we have those dreams, that you just have to kind of put that fear away and just try it because you're Ting Ting and you'll figure it out and you'll make it work, you know? And then if it doesn't work, you have probably learned a lot of things, and hopefully you have a better idea of how you can retool to try again, or maybe that you don't want to try again.
Certainly. Yeah. And in rational level, I totally understand.
Yeah.
Right? And then but then in this just like, you know, you have this two little angel and devil. It's like, oh yeah, of course, even you fail, you learn something. It's never a true failure, right? And then the other side is like, no, you know, you suck at these things. Maybe it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
So, but I have to say that in the past, if I somehow overcame my fear and punched through, I never regret.
Yeah.
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 So I got to remember those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And just take the leap, because we never know until you never know until you try it. It's true. It's an age-old saying, but you just don't. And yeah, it's the only way that I've been able to, you know, make a living these past few years. So I'm glad that I tried. And honestly, at this point, I'm afraid of going back to a normal job. I don't quote air quotes normal job, as in like, because again, my background is in programming and coordination, and so I would go back to an office job, which I honestly don't mind. But I enjoy working at my house, in my studio, taking the dog out when I want to, taking days off when I'm off. I'm taking the day off today. And just kind of doing things as I want. I'm being selfish right now. And I don't want to have to go back to not having some of those things, you know? Even though it's more work. Even though it's way more work.
Way more work.
I work a lot.
Oh, you mean right now?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting you say go back to like a so-called normal job. Because originally I was just like, wait a second.
Yeah, what is that?
You know, especially, I mean, I treat my job seriously, but obviously a lot of people think the guiding is not a real job too.
Yeah, I think it's very real.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of things about it are very real.
Yeah. One of the things that always really bothered me about outdoor education was that we tend to get paid like our jobs are fun. And while I think that they are fun or can be fun, there is so much training and risk involved and knowledge that we need to have, that you need to have to be able to take people out safely to go climbing for the day and the, you know, way back in the canyons. Like, what if something happens? You have to know how to manage that situation, you know? Definitely. And I never thought that we got paid for those sorts of things, when I think it's just as important as anything else.
It is, though. Like, people are so willing to pay insurance, and they hope that they never need to claim because they don't want anything to happen. Yeah. But then, in a way, I feel hiring a guy is like insurance. Yeah. I mean, definitely, you know, nobody wants the shit to happen. Yeah. But that's our job to do our best so those shit doesn't happen. Right. But if somehow really something happened, then we can deal. Yeah. Right? But that's kind of the thing that it hasn't been normalized in a lot of people's like thought, I think. Right? Because they all buy insurance. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, about that thing, I also have a lot to say. I mean, like, guys should take pride in their job, and I think we deserve to be paid more.
I think so too. Yeah, absolutely. And having worked in outdoor education and in the university setting and at gyms, you have a lot of responsibility. You know, you're, so much responsibility, and you are paid like crap. I think at the time I left the university, I was making maybe I think I got a pay increase from $16 to $19 an hour. And I was working, it was quite low. And then, running outdoor programs and taking students all the way to the southern Utah to go hiking for a week and a half in the desert, in the backcountry, where you are hours away from any other person out there, and being responsible for that group of people for that time, and you're getting $16 an hour.
Doesn't make sense.
And that's not, I don't think, hopefully, I'm sure they've raised their wages by now, but, it's just not commensurate. I don't think probably to make a blanket statement across the board, it's probably not commensurate with their experience or, knowledge or, yeah.
Definitely.
I think you need to be paid more. You should tell your bosses that.
Well, I tried. No. But anyway, so I certainly, think that the bar should get raised.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, right now, the AMG is trying to make sure that people understand the value of certification, right? But I think it's just going to take some time for the industry to catch up a little bit. And I like to tell my SPI students that, look, I'm long-term optimistic, but I'm just not short-term. I'm probably short-term pessimistic. Just it's not going to happen in a very short time. Yeah. But we need to be part of the movement.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's part of the other reason that I'm afraid is, I've done quite well for myself these last few years in my own business. And, should things for whatever reason not work out, I'm afraid of that too, of taking that financial hit, because I probably will need to go back to, coordinating some sort of outdoor program type situation, or working for the city again, or something like that, some kind of, outdoor organizing, because that's what I've done. And that's probably one of the only things I'm truly interested in doing again,
Yeah. But, the same thing you told me, Ting Ting, I think, no matter what happened, at least you would make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope so.
I have faith in you, and and
make something work.
You definitely can make something work. You have done it once, then the second time is always easier than the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously it might not even be, you have done it many times, so it's not just the first time. A couple questions I usually ask my guests is, one thing is, just like when I ask a question, the first thing that jump into your head, no over-processing, is if you look back quick, then what's your proudest moment?
I'm having a hard time thinking about any of them. Proudest moment, I guess, I don't know if proud would be a good way to describe it, but the thing I thought of was a trip that I took forever ago now. My boyfriend at the time, my climbing partner also, or my boyfriend was also my climbing partner. There we go. We decided to hitchhike from North Idaho to Yosemite for the summer. This was probably the year after I started climbing. And we lived in Yosemite for the summer.
Wow.
We hid in Camp 4 and changed tent tags, and our parents shipped us food because we didn't bring any money.
General delivery.
And
okay.
And this was before I knew that this was like a thing that people have historically kind of done. I thought we were doing this new cool thing. But yeah, and we did that for the summer and climbed a lot of really cool routes, and I got really scared there. And yeah, it was just a really interesting experience. Yeah. So proud, I don't know, but that was the thing that popped into my mind.
Great.
Maybe proud that I took the chance to hitchhike there.
Right.
And that we went and stayed.
How far from Idaho?
It's a long way.
Yeah.
Probably it's 19 hours from North Idaho to here.
So you have to do
probably
quite a few
probably
different
20
legs.
hours. You know what? We only had 2 different people give us rides.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
It is.
Yeah, we landed in the car of someone that was going maybe to Modesto for some reason. That's what I'm remembering, but I'm probably wrong. I don't know California that well, but
Right.
yeah. But anyways, that was a really cool experience.
I don't know. I think it's cool, right? You know, at your early climbing days, you just have some cool attempts, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might not even be the climb. It's just the logistics.
Yeah, just the thing. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I got like pretty tired about the camping scene in Yosemite, and just like, you know what, I don't have to go back. But
yeah,
definitely the climbing there is phenomenal.
Well, of course, yeah. Absolutely. I would like to take my partner, who I live here with now. He's never been there, and he climbs a lot more and way harder than I do. And so I'm like, we should go. I could show you around a little bit.
So is your partner more sport climber, or
no? He does sport climb too, of course. But I think his preference is, you know, long, hard, traditional routes.
I see.
Hard to him, you know. He's like getting into the 11 range, and he can climb 12s and is working on 13s on sport, you know. Cool. But yeah, so he's working in his 11s and on gear and working his way up.
Then I would say if he's like a track climber.
Oh, he's great.
Right? Yeah. So then
he's solid.
Then like I remember I started track climbing, just like, well, you know, I need to go to Yosemite.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, sport climber, maybe not, but...
Yeah, maybe not. There's not a lot of sport climbing in Yosemite, I don't think.
But just like, wow, you know, as a track climber in the United States, I told people that I've never been to Yosemite. It's kind of odd. Yeah. I don't know. It's just my impression.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of great climbing other places too.
Definitely.
And there's some negatives about Yosemite also, you know.
Definitely. Yeah.
So just like any other place, of course, but yeah.
And then how about another question that say if listeners of this episode can only take one thing away, what would you want them to take away?
Oh my gosh. I guess what we were just talking about, if you're thinking about trying something, anything, you should just try it.
Yes.
Just do it. Just, give it a whirl, see what happens, you know, and you can make decisions later about whether or not you want to keep doing it, do something different, because you're going to learn something along the way. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it's actually a similar thing. Like, as climbing, right? People can plan all they want, but then they got to go.
Yeah, at some point you just have to go.
Yeah. And
honestly, at this point, that's kind of my planning style, too. My partner wants to,
plan everything all out.
He would much rather have that, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm like, no, let's go. And then when we get there, I'm like, oh, I forgot my headlamp in my sleeping bag, and I didn't bring any extra pairs of underwear. And he's like, oh my God, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, we'll survive. It's only a couple days, you know. But anyway, maybe do a little more planning than I do, but just try it, whatever it is.
It's nice. That kind of remind me of one time I took this trip with my climbing friend, just a personal trip. And then we both saw guides, and you know, but then it was like pretty epic. I was like, oh, you forgot a tent. But then those type of things never happen because plan for our guide trip, right? So nothing will happen on when we guide. Somehow I just say, you know what, nobody wants to play.
I feel like when you've guided for a while, you just learn that you can make things work too, like that. And so you forget things like the tent. You forget things like your underwear, because guess what? You don't even need them. But truly, I think you do just learn that you can get, you know, you got the important things, the few things that you need, and then everything else is whatever.
Yeah, we got a rope.
You'll survive.
Definitely. Yeah, because, once you have enough experience, you got that confidence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right,
Totally.
then you can improvise.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the more, not shit show, but some mini epics that will train you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
Wow, it's so cool. And on your past here, anything that relate to, say, your gender that kind of make you feel that it help you, or you like make it more difficult?
I'm happy to say that I listened to this podcast just yesterday, and I listened to your episode with Elena Arends. She was actually one of the
and that's episode 2. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I was like, what? Yeah. Episode 2 with Elena. She's a really cool gal, but she did our exam, our SPI exam. So that's how I know her. Yes. Yeah. And, anyway, she was talking about how when she started guiding that, folks would kind of like turn their head at her and be like, oh, you're gonna be our guide? Like, you're a woman. So as a woman now, many years later, I'm happy to say that I didn't have that experience. I don't have that experience. In fact, I think she also, spoke about how she has they have folks that request female guides because they do want a female to, hopefully have their little girls see and be supported by and, hopefully inspired by. And, and so I think maybe at times I may have had, the opposite of that, which is really cool. Yeah.
So, which means the environment is changing. So,
yeah.
Which is great.
I think so.
Yeah. Because I definitely have like the so-called, people ask me about sexism, and I won't say I didn't experience any.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
But it seems like it was more like the memory that's faded away.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
yeah.
And then still we
I
hear,
think that's true.
Be part of the positive change
Yeah.
movement.
Yeah.
Great.
I like that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Elise. I'm so fun talking with you.
Sure. Yeah. Likewise. Yeah. Thank you, Ting Ting. Happy to chat with you too.